LinkedIn echo chamber. This is ML's like Team Spirit. Today, we have my first interview with two guests. So welcome both of you. We have Matthew from the Data Studio and Laura from Inbox Monster. Guys, I'd like you to both introduce yourself for 20 seconds or so. Matthew, you're a bit nearer to me. I'll start with you. Where are you from?
Hey, John. So I'm from datastudio.tech. I'm the managing partner there.
And where are you geographically, Matthew, in the world?
Where am I geographically? I'm in
Yes.
Baston, north of Peterborough in England.
North of Peterborough. Well,
north of Peterborough.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a global map of where my guests are coming from. Laura, help me with this map. Where are you dialing in from today?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, in the States, and I work on branding and marketing for Inbox Monster.
Wonderful. Yeah. So I get a pin in Peterborough, a pin in Atlanta. My audience will know very similar cities. Hey, Matthew.
Yes, quite.
Okay. Thank you both for joining me.
It's sunny in Atlanta, so maybe
it's sunny. It's sunny here too. But you've probably been as most of the year, right?
Guys, thank you for the support and thank you for joining. Today's topic is actually something I know very little about. So, I'm talking about machine learning and data sciences a lot, and I'm beginning to expand my conversations into just things that can be measured, things that can be checked. And I got a confession to make. We're going to talk about deliverability today and some of the things going on in that space, both in terms of new standards and what you can get from the data in that space. But my confession is that I've done 20 years marketing analytics. I would hear of deliverability, I would see it on a piece of paper or a spreadsheet, and I would just thank God that no one ever asked me a question as to what's really going on under the hood here. So what I'm hoping to get out of the conversation today is a bit of a kind of a look at these new standards from you, Matthew.
Yeah.
And then Laura, I know you're able to take us through a bit of a journey as to some of these underlying data points, definitions, and why we should care about all these things. So I'm going to hand off in a moment. Laura, just for you specifically, I think Inbox Monster are the coolest brand in MarTech with the coolest logo, don't you? Have I said that to you before?
I do. You have said that to me, and it makes my heart happy. It makes my green heart happy. Yes.
Makes your green heart happy. Well, I'm about to make your green heart happier. Look, we are not endorsed by Inbox Monster, but for the fun of this, and in your honor for joining early morning Atlanta time, I want you to know that, and I want you to see that I'm wearing my green Inbox Monster horns for the remainder of this interview today. What do you think? Look, I don't just say that. I don't just say that I love brands. I, live and love brands. So look, that makes me
so happy. They look good on dogs, babies, people. I mean, really, they look good on everyone. So, and you are wearing them very, very well, I will say.
Thank you for that. Look, guys, let's kick off in light of time. So, Matthew, you're here to take us through some new standards that are kind of live from today, actually. So, Take it away, please.
I am indeed. Yeah, thanks, John. So, I'm not going to preach, and I'm not going to say that I'm like an expert on this, but what I will say is I've done a little bit of research, and I'm currently looking at 3 new email standards that are coming in on the 1st of February, which is of course today. These are DMARC, DKIM, and also SPF as well. There are other standards as well that are rolling in, like BIMI. Don't ask me I could probably tell you what the acronyms are, but I don't have enough time on that. The key thing is these are about reducing the amount of attack vectors that are coming at people's inboxes. So it's things like spoofing, phishing, ensuring that and also from an email point of view, if you're like B2B, it's about making sure that the emails that you're sending aren't getting marked as spam. So bulk mail senders are people who are sending like over 5,000 messages. I think there's probably a lot of organizations out there who are doing that. And there's a lot of different variances across the market of people who are set up in the right way for these different new frameworks. But the key things I would say are make sure you have an SPF record, make sure your domain key identified mail is set up, make sure your domain-based messaging, authentication reporting, and conformist, which is DMARC, is set up. And then if you can do it as well, get BIMI set up, which is the brand indicators for message identification. So that's basically giving the email server the flexibility to show like a logo next to your brand. Now, funny enough, I did a little bit of research on this. LinkedIn have BIMI compliance. Microsoft don't. So you can. There's loads of tools on there online that you can have a look at. So there's like bimigroup.org. You can put in your URL, find out if you're compliant on any of these things. As I said, I did a little search on Microsoft. They're compliant for everything apart from Bimmy. So Satya, looking at you, you need to get that sorted. Welcome to talktoDataStudio.tech. We're giving you free advice. And in fact, we're giving anybody who wants to have free advice on it. And that's my final point on this, I guess, because I'm conscious of time. There's loads of free advice out there available. Don't pay for anyone to tell you what to do. Pay for some outcome-based fixing. So like go on there, there's like free videos, free guides. There's this training.powerdmark.com website where you can like get your own like basic free training authentication or whatever and how to do it yourself. And then if you really get stuck, there's always people who you can talk to, but just make sure that you're paying for somebody who's actually going to fix your problem. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. But don't be scared by it. It's going to help you, and it's going to help reduce the amount of spam out there in the email ecosystem.
Matthew, you calm me down, right? Today's lots of marketers out there taking a deep breath, thinking, "Oh my God!" So you're saying, take a deep breath, investigate a little bit, try and figure it out yourself, and if you get stuck, invest
100%.
in some help based on outcome. Get yourself.
I knew nothing about this a month ago, so talk to someone who's like panicked and calmed down as a result.
And also, it's, we're just getting started today. Most of the actual rules aren't taking full effect until June. So there is a little bit of time for bulk senders, which are people that send 5,000 messages a day over a 30-day period. That's an average. That's the number we think is true. So, agreed that this is not something to panic about. It's actually a great thing because we want subscribers to feel more comfortable in their inboxes. We don't want them to be places where unwanted messages are getting. So yeah, totally in agreement that we can all just go, and take a deep breath, even though it's February 1st.
Well, Laura, take this story on for me then. So, I met you it's nearly our year anniversary that we met each other.
Oh, wow.
And so, like I confessed at the start, deliverability is not something I knew too much about. At Inbox Monster, I met you and some of your colleagues, and I was hearing words like signals and feeling excited, data science guy thinking, oh my God, there's some data that I've never looked at here. I confess I've still never come your direction, but I would love to learn more. So can you just help us with this like simple example of what are all these signals? What things are you looking at? What is the system looking at? And how is it helping the modern marketer?
Absolutely. So yes, we do call ourselves an inbox signals platform, not really a deliverability platform, because there's just so much more that we're taking in and we're empowering marketers with. So really it's getting data and feedback on how your email is performing. So that can take many, many forms. It could take the form of seed list testing before you send to understand where your actual message is landing. Is it being delivered? Is it landing in a spam folder? Is it landing, in a folder that you would like it to? So that's a really important part of our platform, and just kind of a core part of our platform. That's very important. But when it relates to some of these new requirements that are going into effect, we also have lots of other signals that are really important for people to be paying attention to, especially now. And you mentioned DMARC and having your DMARC configured properly. That is definitely something we encourage people to do. Go out, do your digging, figure out how you want to set your DMARC policy. Go ahead and set up Bimmy. Who knows if it's going to be a requirement in the future? I hope so as a brand person, because I think it gives that extra level of understanding that the message is coming from the brand that you really wanted to hear from. And what we can do at Inbox Monster is help to monitor that process. So a lot of times, I really hate the phrase set it and forget it. And I think everyone at Inbox Monster does, because we're like, no, set it and then continuously monitor it and set up some alerts so that you'll know if anything is not going the way you want it to in your program. So one of those things, of course, is DMARC for us. And it's becoming more and more important to just be monitoring your authentication. And sometimes some of the steps of that chain break down. And if they do, you want to be alerted of that immediately. And so that's one thing we can do, is help with monitoring the authentication, in addition to inbox placement, which is the all important metric that we really want people to be able to do. Something else that goes along with the Yahoo and Google changes that we think is super important is enabling that one-click unsubscribe. So, you'll see right next to the Bemi logo in your actual message, in your inbox, that ability to click unsubscribe with one link, with just one click. That is super important, and that's something we encourage. A lot of brands might say, like, well, I don't want people to unsubscribe from my emails, but you actually do. If they don't want to receive your messages, let them go. It's better for them to unsubscribe than for them to mark you as spam, even though maybe you're sending legitimate messages, you're not doing anything that you wouldn't want for one of your subscribers to get. But you want to make it easy for them to say, not right now, or to opt down, elsewhere in your message if that's what they want to do. So just enabling that in your header is something that, a deliverability consultant like Inbox Monster can help you do, or you can go and get some pretty good tips on that out there on the interwebs as well. And then last but not least, just to touch on things that are super pertinent to today, since today is February 1st. The other sort of metric that we would recommend keeping an eye on are just those spam complaint rates. So we know now that Google is saying that you need to be below 0.3% in your complaint rates to make it to the inbox. And they're just saying, this is not just a best practice. This is a thing you have to do now, today. So if you're not monitoring those, that's, you're just kind of hoping for the best. So you could use a tool like Inbox Monster, or you could use some of the free tools out there like the Google Postmaster tools to keep an eye on your complaint rates and make sure that they're low. And this all just goes back into having really good sending practices, to sending to your engaged audience, to sending great content that they want to hear, setting the expectations up front about, if you sign up for my email program, I am going to give you this, so that they're not getting any surprises and they're finding out just a lot of value out of your program. So one thing that you're able to get within the Inbox Monster platform is a very nifty little chart that's showing you over time what are your complaint rates. And again, you could set up alerts if you go over a certain threshold. You need to take action right away because you've crossed that threshold, and that could spell trouble for Google or Yahoo under these new standards. So those are really the three. I don't want to go too crazy giving you all the different signals that are in our platform, but those are the ones that seem really pertinent today. Because it's February 1st, even though there's no need for panic. Everyone remain calm. Those are really important things in our platform. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention there's a lot more to Inbox Monster than just those things. We also have a brilliant creative suite where you're able to make sure that all of your emails look their best before you even get into inbox placement testing or some of those post-send analytics as well. So it's really the full gamut. So yeah, that's my spiel. Anything else I can touch
Laura,
on?
thanks for that. Look, Matthew, I'm hearing about the new standards. Laura, you've told me about some things that you do, seed testing and whatnot. So before you launch your campaign, and then the creative testing, and then you've got all these other metrics that come through that periodically, after you've sent campaign activity, you just need to jump back in there, check that these rates are under control. The spam one is the thing when in my mailbox I say mark as spam. This is a spam complaint, isn't it? Is that right?
That's a spam complaint. I mean, but if it's spam, you should do that. But if you really just don't want to get a message from them, you could unsubscribe. And that person could make it very easy for you to do so.
Well, this is the problem, because Laura, I don't have enough time in my day to mark all these damn emails as spam. So it's clearly, a large problem for, filling up people's inboxes and so on and so forth. So, I can see the merits of the platform. Matthew, Laura, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is you've both survived your first interview with me. And the bad news is that we're hitting time. So thank you for your explanations. Thank you for the support. Ladies and gents, this has been ML's Like Teen Spirit.